What's going on, everybody? Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. Saturday, Adam Aaron had posted a tweet talking about paying down some of AMC debt. A lot of people reaching out asking me questions. So I'm just going to give you a quick update on everything I know about this. I want to talk a little bit about what this does for their balance sheet in the short term and the long term, and just the natural cycle of regular stock offerings, because there was something that was posted all the way at the end of September, which we're going to cover, talking about the 425 million issuance of APE shares. Has that offering been completed? Has it even started? I'm just going to cover everything I know, guys, and also talk about, like I said, the natural cycle of offerings. So let's get right into it. First off, this is the tweet. Adam had stated yesterday, AMC took a very important step. Our new APE preferred units gave us the confidence to pay off $106 million of debt. They took on new $400 million, all right, that is going to be due 2027, replacing the 506 that was due in 2023. So this is not the first time that he has done this, that he has extended some of his loans. Now, previously, things were a little bit different, okay? Interest rates were a lot lower, okay, all right? So this is going to be $400 million, all right, aggregate principal amount of 12.75% that is due 2027. Okay, now naturally, the 506 that was due in 2023, all right, the interest payments on this are a little bit higher because it's much closer towards that expiration, towards when the final date that is due. Okay, so this in the short term, what will this do to the balance sheet? Well, it's just a little bit less capital that has to go out to paying the interest, not only because of the maturity date, all right, being an extra 4 years, but also just the natural amount. Okay, so this explains it just a little bit further, talking about a company that is based in London, Odeon Finco. All right, and right here it says AMC raised $400 million in what is called a private offering. Now, some people had thought that they raised $400 million from the offering completed from issuing new APE shares. I haven't found any information on that as of yet, okay? And if you look at Adam Aaron's tweet, which I'm sure was reviewed by his lawyers, he said, our new APE preferred units gave us the confidence, meaning they could have used their own cash on hand that they've had, okay? They could have taken that $106 million, okay, and paid off some of it, knowing that they're going to get some more on the back end. All right, now I don't know if this money had come from the issuance of the APE shares. Has the offering even closed? And we'll talk about that as of right now. So here was an article that was released September 26th, and it says AMC theaters to sell up to 425 million, okay, of their APE preferred shares. All right, it struck a deal with sales agent Citigroup Global to begin selling them. I covered a video about this and really haven't heard anything really in the past probably about 3 weeks, okay, that talks anything about this. Okay, now it did say AMC in an SEC filing, which I briefly went over, said it had a deal with Citigroup to act as its sales agent related to the APE preferred equity shares, which appeal to the exhibitor's base of retail investors. As a part of the sales prospectus, AMC said Citigroup may offer and sell up to 425 million AMC preferred equity units. Okay. Now it also says up here, struck a pact to begin selling its new APE preferred shares. So I've heard nothing that the offering has closed. Some people have said, hey, listen, has the offering started? Well, I can't find anywhere that shows that the float, even though the float was completely manipulated, not even accurate from the beginning, is a whole another story, but nothing signifying that at least that this has begun. The only thing that we can look at, okay, is really just looking at the chart, okay? And when you show where the 26 is to where we are right now, this is around that time frame you see on the 26th, a little bit of a pop, right? When I made a video on this date, I said more than likely this is shorts, really trying to attract, okay, raise some liquidity in order to build a position, because naturally, we'll talk about the cycle of an offering. Anytime an offering is talked about, we've seen this with your small cap, okay, biotech stocks that they run up for a little bit. Anytime an offering is made, it really just, really dilutes, okay, not only the float, but also dilutes the stock price, and it really just scares investors and traders to get out of it. And it's just a signal for shorts to come in and start to pile it on, because naturally this is what happens. The stock price tends to go down. Now, when an offering is complete, a lot of times shorts will end up covering their position, okay, because you got to think that was their thesis behind it. They're shorting because of an offering. Now that the offering is closed, shorts will cover their position, okay, and the stock price, does rebound a little bit. If there's interest, it can continue. If obviously it fades away, like some of these small cap biotech stocks, just these 3, 4, 5 day runners do, then it kind of just fades away. Obviously, AMC is not going anywhere. The attention is still on this. Okay, 100%. We've seen that over the past year and a half. Okay, what I mean by shorts closing a position, I'm talking about the shorts that originally built their position based off this offering. All right, I'm not talking about the shorts that have been in this since, pretty much 2020. Okay, totally different. I'm talking about the shorts that have built this position. Okay, so naturally, if you remember going all the way back to, I'm not going to pull up the chart right now, but you remember AMC going all the way back to that June 2nd, June 3rd date when pre-market they had said that AMC, Adam Aaron had issued the rest of the shares that it had. The price went all the way from 77 pre-market down to, I think it was like 36 intraday, before going all the way back up to 68. Then obviously, what happened over the next 2 months. It kind of hung around that area before, slowly breaking to the downside. So I do expect that if, they've already begun selling these shares, that we would get some kind of indication and notice that, listen, the offering has been completely made. When you do look at this filing, and it does say right here, talking about this offering, this is a little bit different. Okay, this is a senior secured notes. This is not the offering of issuing more shares. These are two separate things. If you look at who this company is, Odeon Finco, it's actually a very you can pause this if you want to look at this a little bit further, but it's a very small company that has started at the beginning of 2022. The information about this is very, very small, and what they do is they basically just assume debt. Okay, they will choose to buy this debt in order to be able to, raise capital for any type of fees, premiums, expenses, as well as interest. Okay, they merely act as if something what would be for a bank if you were trying to take a loan out, to purchase a vehicle, utilizing the vehicle as collateral. Interest rates are obviously higher as of right now. Okay, and the risk is potentially there just because obviously the economy is not nearly as strong as it was. So that's why you're seeing, this high number. Now, how does this affect, like I said, in the short term versus the long term, their balance sheets? Well, one, analysts and, are really going to want to see what comes out after their next earnings report. All right, how much of an effect does this have to the short term? Like I said, the number is obviously smaller. They're paying on 400 million versus 506 million because that maturity was such shorter, much closer, being in 2023 versus 2027. I expect that amount to be smaller and the interest that's going to be paid on it to be smaller. The one thing that we're going to have to look at is, because the interest rate is different, how does that affect their balance sheet going forward, as well as just the entire economy slowly changing. So guys, I hope that gave you a quick update. Obviously, when you take a look at APE and AMC, we'll look at AMC, from where it is as of right now, just slowly declining, sitting about $6. Okay, especially where it was. One, the entire market is taking a big hit. All right. And you have to think about this when it comes to stocks that are traded on, okay, potential revenue. All right. When they're speculative, such as, AMC, okay, and other stocks, they're the ones that really get hit the hardest, just because the entire market, there's a lot of liquidity that has to come out of this. We are in a very, very unique situation. I said ever since, in a lot of the AMC videos they even made in, early 2021, middle 2021, especially really banging my hand on the table in August, there's no way that our economy can sustain what happened from printing that amount of capital, especially because there was just really no tracking of it, no trace of it. It was freely given, and the entire world is slowly paying for this. This is going to continue. Okay, when you look at the charts from the entire market, and you might, look at retracements levels and compare this to previous, pullback, previous bear markets, even previous crashes, you might be able to formulate where we can kind of end up before, the price earnings ratio gets to a very, very attractive point. However, until the macro changes, not much is going to change with the entire market. And unfortunately, AMC does get penalized and, beat down because of this, like I said, in the short term until the macro changes. So guys, that is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.